Before we get started with our flooring installation, we want to give a massive shout out to the whole team over at Flooret. They provided all the flooring for this project and it looks absolutely beautiful, and we had an incredible experience. The flooring is easy to install, it looks fantastic, and it's easy to get. There is no middleman, you're buying directly from the manufacturer. And usually when you do something like that, shipping is what kills you, but Flooret has an awesome deal. They have flat shipping. You buy 6 boxes, 6 pallets, it's the same cost. And if you can't decide which flooring you want, they'll send you a sample pack, which is exactly what we did. And if you use our code STUDPACKFLORET, they're gonna send you the sample pack for 50% off. Now stay tuned for the video. We have a ton of great details. I think this first floor had every challenge we could possibly experience installing a floor like this, including tucking it under the brick hearth. Stay tuned, you're not gonna wanna miss it. Hey gang, I'm Paul with StudPack. Welcome back to the channel. In our previous video, you saw me and the crew install all the cabinets in the kitchen and they look fantastic. Our very next step is to install all the floor. Now, anytime we do a cabinet and flooring video or series of videos, we get a ton of comments. StudPack, you need to learn to put the floors down first and put your cabinets on top of it. Well, check this out. They're not attached to the wall yet, because we agree with you. But there are a few issues with doing it that way. The first one is wasted material. We're gonna put flooring under this entire area and no one's ever gonna see it. So that's wasted material, which means wasted money, and we don't like that. The second issue is the manufacturers don't like that. They don't like you putting cabinets on their flooring. It's okay to put a 400-pound fridge on there or a 300-pound oven, but don't put a 30-pound cabinet. But I digress. The third problem is when we put our cabinets on top of a completely finished floor, now we gotta shim the cabinets. We're gonna have to put wooden shims in the back, in the front, wherever to get this thing perfectly level. We can't have all those shims showing, so we're gonna cut them off and we're gonna cover that gap. You only have a couple of options: big ugly piece of trim or a big ugly bead of caulk. We don't want either of those. So in this video, we're gonna show you how to work around all that. We got a ton of tips, ton of tricks. Stay tuned, let's get to work. Now the first step is to trace our cabinet location onto the slab. Now the reason I'm doing this is not to show us where to put the cabinets back on our finished flooring, it's showing me where to stop the finished flooring under the cabinets. So after I trace all the cabinets, we're gonna remove them, have a perfect outline of all our cabinets. So when we lay down our flooring, we're gonna extend it past that line by 1 inch under the cabinets, wherever I put that line. Now it's going to do a lot of things for us. It's going to give the illusion that the cabinets are scribed to the finished floor, like we put the entire finished floor down first and the cabinets are scribed to it, which is what we're going to do. But we're saving all that material by not flooring here and all the way over here. And we're also abiding by the manufacturer's specs because our cabinets are going to be sitting on the slab. They're not going to be sitting on our floor. We got a lot of work to do. Let me finish scribing these cabinets to the floor. We'll get started. Got the floor all scribed. Now before we remove the cabinets, you're probably wondering, StudPack, I saw the last video, you set the cabinets with a laser. How are you gonna get them back exactly where they go? It's gonna be pretty simple, guys. This one just butts against this step right here. These are screwed together. We set this unit, pull 24 inches for our dishwasher. Then we set this guy. We scribe the wall just in case, so we make sure we hit it. On this one, we got that end panel over there and it's screwed to the wall. Now when we put this back, we're gonna be up higher, so we can't follow the same screw holes. We just gotta get this mark dialed in to the corner of our corner bead. So that's gonna establish this cabinet because these two are screwed together. These two are screwed together, so we'll screw together the face frames. That registers all this, which registers the range. And this cabinet, the final one, the edge right here, just lines up with the corner bead on the back. If we're off, it's gonna be like a 16th. It's not gonna matter at all. Let's get these cabinets out of here. All right, all our cabinets are moved out of the way. We moved them all except for the sink base, and I did that for a couple of reasons. I've already moved this thing like 3 or 4 times. If I were to pull this off the wall, I'd have to remove the angle stops so it pulls off the pipes, cut PVC or cut the back. I don't want to do any of that. It's actually fine where it is. We can put this course right under there like that. It's gonna be perfect. So are we going to start our flooring installation by putting a full width piece along this little wall here in the bay and just going for it this direction? Of course not. We're going to begin the installation by using our favorite word, starts with an L. It's not laser, it's layout. And we're starting our layout in the hallway because it's the longest run and we have these 3 doors behind me to deal with. We want to plan for it now so that when we get to it, it's going to look great and we've planned all of our steps ahead of time. Here's what I mean. The worst thing that can happen when you're installing flooring like this is you end up like that. The wall where the doorway is in the middle of your plank. So you got a few options, right? You can notch it on one piece and try to put it in there, and then notch this piece and try to get them together. You can fight it for an hour. You can take one piece of tile, double notch it. That's even worse. You're going to fight it forever. And it's going to look terrible. You're not going to be satisfied. And you're going to get so frustrated. So here's what you want. You want your planks to be able to end up within the door frame. What I mean by that, the long edges of your plank, where your tongue or your groove are, need to end up somewhere right here in your door frame. That way it's going to be easy to set a plank here in the hallway, then move into the adjacent room and keep working, and you're not going to be fighting all of those notches. Now we have a pretty wide hallway on this project, right? So my goal was to be over here in the half bath with a joint in our flooring on the long end in this doorway. And then I'm going to put in this course, another course, another course, another one. Work over towards the bedroom and hopefully have another joint in this doorway so we don't end up with the dreaded notches in the doors. So I took a rough measurement, then I measured my plank. It's 9 inches wide. Based on the rough measurement of the hall, I knew that 6 of these butted together. 6 times 9, 54. 54 puts me inside this doorway, puts me inside this doorway. Perfect, I couldn't ask for better. Your project, obviously, is going to be different. You're going to have a hall that's a different width. You're going to have planks that are different widths. But that's the goal, to adjust and move so you have a seam here in this doorway and a seam there. Now that we know that, let's lay out our floor. All right, guys, we put some blue tape on the floor just so you could see it. And what it represents is my boundaries. In other words, this edge right here is as far as I can go with my plank into the bathroom before I get the dreaded notched plank, right? Don't want that. I want to stay within the door. So I've got one on this side too. As long as I'm on this side of the tape, I'm within the door. And between those two pieces of tape, it is 57.5 inches. Remember my 54-inch number? 6 of these is 54 inches. I got 3.5 inches of wiggle room. Why do I care about wiggle room? It comes down to slivers. We're going to show you that in a minute, but for right now, let's pop a line in this hallway. All right, guys, we popped our chalk line all the way from the front door on the concrete slab, all the way down behind Jordan to the fireplace. So where do we pop it? Well, we came out of the zone in this doorway, 2 courses, and we ended up on this joint in our wooden floor. So we're going to use that to our advantage since it's there. So once you got that mark in your hallway, just measure from that mark to your sheetrock on one side, and then duplicate that on the other. Then you're just going to connect those ends with a chalk line, or better, with a laser. Now, we use the seam in our wood floor to our advantage because it's perfectly parallel. We already checked it. And we pop that line all the way like I said. So our next step is to transfer that line into that area. So remember I said a few minutes ago that 6 of our Flooret planks at 9 inches each should be 54 inches? Well, we put 6 together and we checked it. We always check, no matter who makes the plank, because a lot of them can be very, very different. The Flooret planks came in at 53 7/8, really close to that 54-inch number, close enough that I'm just going to work with it and go at 54. Sometimes it'll be 3/4 difference, an inch difference, and that difference can really add up in your layout and mess it up, so you're going to get slivers. Our whole goal here is to not have slivers, so we pulled 15 courses off of our chalk line. That's 162 inches. Let's make a mark. Now I'm going to use this chalk line in the foyer and line my tape up at 162 on my chalk line, right there. Come back to this side and make the same mark on this end as I did down there by you. And now we're going to connect the dots, Jordan. Pop a line. Got our chalk line on this side, and that does a couple things for us. It ensures that our layout is parallel to our layout in the hall if we follow this line. And now I can simply measure off of this line on this side of the house to make sure I don't have any slivers. So let's start in the bay window. Remember, we're looking at multiples of 9. So closest one is 54. If that's my seam, I got a nice sized piece of tile of flooring over there in the bay window.
Nice.
Really liking that. We can even check right here. Multiple of 9, or I can already see there's 36. So we're going to have 27, almost a full tile right there, but it's just right there at the cabinets. Let's go into the dining room and check it out over here. It's going to be a little different because this wall bumps out, remember? But based on what I just told you, we should be fine here. Multiples of 9, 27. Got a nice tile over there. Let's check to the wall on your left. It's all about multiples of 9. There's 88. There's 90. Let me straighten out my tape. 90. Let me go 99. Oh, 99. So I got 99 on my chalk line. I'm almost to the wall, but let me bump the wall with the end of the tape. Look at that, 5/8 of an inch away. What does that mean? It means a couple of bad things for us. We're gonna have a sliver right here, hate slivers, and we're gonna have to notch the plank around each side of this doorway, something we do not wanna do. Now remember the wiggle room we talked about? I can move my layout an inch this way, so now my seam is in the doorway. We get rid of this sliver and makes things real easy on us. And we're still within these two doorways. Let's repop that line an inch this direction, start laying some floor. All right guys, our floor is all scraped. It's been swept, it's been vacuumed. It's never been this clean. So now we're gonna cover it all up. This manufacturer, Flooret, wants a moisture barrier, so I picked up 5 rolls of this from our local Floor and Decor. It provides the moisture barrier. It's also a little pad, and this one right here is made specifically for flooring products that have a pad already installed at the factory like ours does. So we're simply gonna roll it out. I know it's gonna cover the chalk line, so we set up our laser on the windowsill. It's projecting a beam right on top of our chalk line, and I did make a mark on the windowsill, on the wall behind Jordan, so in case he gets bumped, we can put it back where it goes. Let's put down some underlayment. All right, gang, got our underlayment down, and we even got 3 rows of our flooring down, and it looks great. So we put down 3 because 3 gives us a perfectly straight line. If I was just to assemble 1 row, it's not very strong. It's gonna wobble a little bit. When I assemble 2 rows, it's a lot stronger. And 3, man, that was the ticket for this flooring. It is dead straight. Gonna turn out the light so you can see the laser. Look at that, guys. We wanna keep it straight, right? And there's a bunch of ways you could do that. The most common is to get all your flooring back in the house and stack it here so it doesn't move off your layout. But we think there's a little better way. Let's show you. All right, guys, one of our favorite flooring tricks. Had some scraps outside, just cut these little squares, drilled a hole in it, and I used that. I've already drilled a hole in the slab, and we're gonna simply screw this down to our slab. And then this cannot move. Got a little Tapcon here, boom. Absolutely love it. Now, if you had a wood subfloor, it's even easier, right? Just screw that down with a deck screw, GRK, whatever you got. Then it's gonna be easy as we build this way, and this gets heavier and heavier. At some point, I can come back here, remove all this, and I can work backwards. Sometimes working backwards with particular types of flooring is hard, but I've already tried it over there by the pantry, and it's really easy. I'll be able to put in this last row, and look how our layout did, almost a full board. Let's keep rolling forward. All right, guys, it is the next day. We worked till past 9 o'clock last night getting the Flooret flooring installed. It looks absolutely great. I love the way it feels. I love the way it sounds when you walk on it. And it is absolutely beautiful. Can't wait to give it a mop and see what it looks like with all the cabinets in place. Speaking of cabinets, right now we have to switch from flooring installers back to cabinet installers because the countertop subcontractor is showing up in a few hours. But we don't have any cabinets. We have the holes where they go. So remember our plan. We're going to put the cabinets back. The stainless steel easy levelers are going to sit on the slab, and we're going to drop the cabinets back onto the Flooret flooring. Let's switch gears, install some cabinets. That's where the dishwasher goes, right? This is your house. This is your house. What's up? All right, gang, we got all the cabinets on the sink wall back where they go. And look how great this edge came out. That was the whole plan. And they're sitting on the slab, but they're kissing the floor. Perfect. And they look great. So are we ready to install them on the wall? Not quite yet. Couple things. So we made 24.5-inch spacers with pocket screws and attached it to our carcass on each side. So I got this 1/4-inch reveal on each side. So that means the opening between the cabinets is 24, exactly what we need for the dishwasher. So that's going to hold everything in perfect alignment. We don't have to worry about it. We know the dishwasher is going to fit. So there's one more step I want to do before we screw these to the wall. I think everybody spends a lot of time getting them plumb and level, but I don't think a lot of people do this next step. What we want to do is make sure all the faces are in the same plane, right? Let's check it, Rad. We're going to pull this string tight. All right, so the dishwasher, see, is in a little bit. And I think, Jordan, we're out a little bit right here to the left of the sink. This is called a dry line. We're going to use this to establish where we want to move the cabinets. Let's take care of that dishwasher first, and then we'll look at this joint between the kitchen sink and the cabinet where I'm at. Pretty good, huh? Good? Or a little more? Nice. All right, we're perfectly in line. We got our shims keeping everything in place. Remember, we put blocking behind the whole thing. Screw them to the wall. Nice, Rad. All right, guys, cabinets are all installed and they look absolutely awesome. We're all really happy with the way they turned out. And what I'm also really happy about is something I forgot about earlier. I forgot about the dishwasher because we cut these cabinets, we cut them by a lot so they'd be level, even though our slab's going up like this. And as many dishwashers as I've installed, I totally forgot about it. And why is forgetting about the dishwasher such a big deal? Because it's made of steel and stainless steel and you can't cut it. And I cut the cabinets because our floor was out of level, but we wanted the top to be dead level. So we had to cut quite a bit off of the cabinet on either side of the dishwasher, essentially lowering how high these cabinets were. And because I forgot about the dishwasher, now there was a big question, is it gonna fit? Is it gonna crash into our countertop? But come over here and check this out. I mean, if I had a couple playing cards, they'd fit right in there before the countertop hit it. So really happy that that worked. Let's walk over to the foyer door, and I want to show you an area where a lot of people struggle and show you how we do it. So come on over here with me to this foyer door. It's pretty wide, right? Which is going to work to our advantage. Doorways are one of those areas where a lot of people struggle putting in laminate, vinyl plate, whatever. And the problem is, how do you get it under this side of the door and under this side of the door? We're going to show you. So here's what we got. Remember earlier we did all our layout and we moved it an inch that way so that our seam would end up in this door? Well, we made it by the skin of our teeth. Now I can get this plank in. I've already scribed it over here. I remove the tongue and then we're going to drop it down and then I can shove it under my door casing right here. But when we come on the other side, to the other side of the door, I notched it already. I can't tip it in place because now I'm crashing into the door casing. So what most people do, they'll just cut out this little corner and they'll drop it, something like that. Well, now you have a hole here. You're going to see it forever. It's going to look terrible. What you want it to be is like that, especially right here because you have a reveal and your casing doesn't cover this little area right in front, right where it's painted. So let me pull these out of here, show you how we install them. Now this first piece is pretty easy. I can tip it up. It just fits between my doorway. I planned it that way. I can tip it up. I'm engaged here. I'm going to roll it down so I clear the door frame here, right? A couple of taps just to make sure I'm seated. I like that. Now on this one I had a little bitty notch. Most of the time you're going to have a much bigger notch, but it's the same process. Now I'm going to come over here, put on my little sacrificial piece so I don't damage the end of the board when I tap on it. And then I can just slide the whole thing under the door casing. So that's going to look great. But the other side is where a lot of people struggle because now I can't tip this board up into place because it is going to crash into my door frame. I can't get it in there. So here's what we're going to do. I already notched it, right? And as you can see, just a little bitty notch. And I'm going to slide it in place that way. I've undercut all this with my buzzsaw, and I've got plenty of room here to do my work. So now what I got to do, I have to connect these two boards together straight. I can't angle it and engage. I got to go straight in. So in order for that to happen, in order for this piece to slide straight in to the piece we've already installed, I have to cut off the little edge right here. And I put that piece of metal under there just to protect my underlayment. I don't want to slice it all up, right? Now, because we cut off this little locking tab, these two pieces won't stay together without some help. What kind of help we're going to give it? We are going to use clear Gorilla Glue. But in order to activate it, we got to wet both edges first. I got a little damp rag. All right, so I'm just going to wet the tongue side of this board. Boom. Set it right there. And then I'm going to wet the groove side of the other board. And I'll use my tapping block to make it tight. There we go. I was able to push that with my hands. Let me grab my block. Get this board in there, and then we just push it this way with our tapping block, just like we did all of these. All right, guys, dining room is done. Looks awesome. We put some blue tape on that last glue joint to hold it for a couple hours, preferably overnight, but we're not done gluing yet. We're going to slide this one in, do the same thing. We could have put a seam in the middle, but since we're gluing it, we figured, let's put one board right here at the threshold. Nice. Check my left to right, and come back towards the front door a little bit. Don't want any holes right here. I love it. All right, let me get it in there. And we just tap it in, tape it. All right, guys, that piece came out great. Now, here's what we're trying to do, right? Imagine this is our casing. We're gonna kind of upgrade it with our casing. See, I don't have a hole right here. Right there, that's where most people miss it. It looks something like that. I've been in a few of those houses. But that's what we got on all four sides of this door. Now this is a remodel, right? So we left these here. I floated the idea to Summer that we could remove these. It would make the flooring job a lot easier, but I got the raised eyebrow, so I knew we weren't going to do that. But now that this is done, we're going to work our way into the foyer. We just have a few more pieces to go. These are going to be really easy. And then we have to navigate down the hallway and tie in with the flooring over there in the kitchen area by the stairs, and work backwards into the bathroom. A couple of challenges coming up, but let's knock out these few pieces right here. Hey guys, this flooring project is coming out great, but if you've got your own flooring project and you need a little more help, check out Joe over at So That's How You Do That. He's also got a consulting business. He can give you personal instruction at sothat'showyoudothat.com. He'll send you a whole video, plus he's got all the tools to help you. We don't install any flooring without his tools. Make sure you check him out. All right, gang, we got the flooring removed from like half the living room, got it scraped, vacuumed, putting down underlayment, and then I realized, you know what? I got to do something about this fireplace. Because typically, the flooring's going to butt up against it, or you're going to have a little gap. You got to fill it with silicone. I don't like the way that looks. You put a piece of trim on it. I really don't like the way that looks. So what am I going to do? I'm going to undercut the brick and slide this under. It's going to look sweet. How am I going to do that? Our friends at Milwaukee sent me a brand new grinder, cordless. I put a diamond blade in there, and this shield is going to ride right on the slab. I'm going to undercut the brick, and as you can see, it's right over the top of my laminate. Of course, the underlayment's going to kick it up a little bit, but I will have a nice shadow line. It's going to look sweet. I'm going to be the grinder. Rad's going to man the vacuum. We got the furniture covered, the counters covered. Let's knock it out. All right, there we go, guys. Now off camera, I got my grinder and I even polished the bottom. Took off all those little pieces of mortar that were hanging on. Now this piece of flooring slides in real nice. Look how nice that's gonna look. Nice little shadow line right there. And that's a detail that could even work if you had like a rough stone fireplace. Just slide it under there, toss the trim, toss the caulk.
That's awesome.
So we had to do this right now because we're getting really close to installing our flooring under our fireplace. So we got that challenge solved. Our next challenge, we have to connect all the boards we installed here in the back of the house with all the boards we installed in the front of the house in the foyer. And it has to connect perfectly. So what we did, we took a spacer block, just a piece of scrap, and we engaged it in the last row right here by the stairs. We did the same thing in the front. We got a spacer block in the front of the house. We got a spacer block back here. And then we installed 4 6-foot boards and we engaged them in the tongue and groove. All right, guys, I know what you're saying, stud pack. Guys, just start at the front door and work your way back to the stairs. You're gonna be fine. Well, how do we know? We wanna set ourselves up for success just like we have on the whole rest of the project. So if I'm 1/2 inch off and this board is overlapping this one, I can't move it and make it up. And if I'm wide and have a gap, I can't make that up. I gotta start over. It's the last thing I wanna do. So we're gonna set up a course right here. It's perfectly straight. And this course is gonna be scribed to the wall. And these 4 boards are gonna go boom in this row right here, connecting the foyer and the back right here by the stairs.
How do we know the planks are straight though?
Well, remember that chalk line we put on our existing floor? Well, we ripped up the floor, and so our chalk line is gone. But I don't need it anymore because I got a laser. I can put the laser right on this board, get it perfectly straight, and then adjust the boards to my laser beam. So I know if the beam is straight, these follow the beam, the boards are straight. The other thing we did, we're checking our layout. The last thing I want to happen now is to start at the front of the house and then have a seam right next to this one. So boards are 6 feet long. I pulled a tape 24 feet from the front door. So that means this seam is going to be right here. Perfect distance from all the others. Absolutely love this. It's going to guarantee us for success. Let me grab my cheater board and show you how we scribe this row to our wall and to our doors. All right, guys, here's what you do. Just get a scrap block of your flooring full width, and I cut off the tongue. Then that edge is going to ride against the drywall, and I'm going to scribe this edge with a Sharpie. And I don't know if you can see, but look what that wall is doing. This is parallel to the other walls we did, but look how wild that one's running. Way crooked. There's no way you'd ever be able to duplicate that with a tape measure. This is way easier. So let's get around this door. We're actually going to have a notch here. This is going to slide into the bathroom. Remember earlier in the video we talked about how we wanted this seam in the bathroom? There you go. There it is. So let's keep working our way down. We're going to cut these 4 boards.
And put them in.
And put them in. Get out of this hallway. All right, our fireplace is looking great. Got our course.
Yeah, that's the hallway.
Okay. It's Friday night. It's been a long week. All right. The hallway's looking great. So we swapped ends. We got our first notcher cut for the fireplace. We got it engaged out here. We're going to tap it in. Oh, yeah. Almost there. Wait, hang on. Okay. You can ease up, ease up. We just don't, it's so hard. Yeah, nice. That looks amazing.
That's pretty sick.
That's
Good job.
Custom right there. Looks like it's floating. All right, guys, probably the most difficult piece in the whole house. This one that goes underneath these 2 doorways. So on these 2 planks right here, we cut off the locking detail right there. Then we were able to undercut the doors with our buzzsaw, notch these, slide it in place, and now we're coming back. And we can easily tap it in because we removed the locking detail. We put some white Gorilla Glue, just like on the other door, clean it up with some denatured alcohol. It's gonna be there forever. Ready? You want to tap it to me, bud? We'll lock this final joint.
Yes.
You there? All right, guys, we're out of the hallway. It looks fantastic. Now, the whole house from that bay window all the way to the corner of the fireplace, we laid left to right, just like you're reading a book. But when we got to the fireplace, we realized we have to tuck it under. So there's two ways to do that. We can do it like this, where we glued it and removed that locking mechanism, but I didn't want to do that for all these boards. So we worked right to left with our installation. A lot of flooring manufacturers, that's almost impossible. But with this Flooret flooring, they made it really easy. Now you can't just tip this up, lock it, and tap it down. This won't engage. So here's how we do it. You ready, Brad? You got to pick this piece up a little bit and line these two up. Brad's going to tip up. Now I'm locked. And now we're going to come in together and engage right here. You ready, Brad?
Yep.
Slide a little more. And then I actually have to tip up a little more. And I'm pulling towards me. You're going to hear it click. There you go. Now we're in. Now we're going to tap it, finish this row. Guys, all the flooring is installed on the first floor. Love the way it looks. Love how it feels when I walk on it. What a transformation to the first floor. It is so much brighter and it's going to be really easy to clean. So please subscribe if you're not a subscriber to our channel already. And as far as that like button is concerned, why don't you undercut it just like we did the hearth, slide your flooring under it, and then smash it. If you're looking for more Stud Pack, you can find us over at Stud Pack 2 on YouTube and over at Insta at Stud Pack Official. Guys, it is the new year. Have a safe one, and we'll see you right back here in 2025.